Thank you for your interest in this auction. Let's take a closer look at this amazing collection of memorabilia from this gentleman who went traveling on a grand tour of England. So he left April 20th, 1956, and I think he must have hit just about every castle or every major castle there. So let's have a look at what's in here. So first of all, the binder. He started with a full-size corporate cloth-bound binder, but as you can tell, it is so overstuffed that it's just bursting at the seams, and the pages are really not stable. They're not staying clipped in the binder as they should. So you might want to rebind this if you care to, or whatever you want to do with it. Just so you know, the pages are all sitting in there loose, and they're just sitting between the covers of this binder. It's an enormous, heavy binder, but it just can't fit all the material that's in it. So let's take a look at what's in it. Bring this within range. And it starts out, as the photograph shows, it starts out with a telegram from the travel agency. It's really lovely and unique. It's all in poetry, welcoming him to the tour of England. And then it has, again, in the photograph, in the listing, you'll see his response, which he also wrote back to them in full poetry, which is just really charming. And this is as he was leaving and taking his flight. Again, April 20th, 1956. And then let's have a look at where this gentleman went in his travels. First of all, let's talk about condition issues. I already told you that the pages are all sitting here loose from the binder because it's just too thick to clip anymore into that binder. There's nothing wrong with the binder itself, except that it's not going to clip for you. So the pages have a little bit of some dust here and there, some dog ears. Some of these, the photo corners from the mid-century will typically come loose. I believe they're all there and can be reattached. There may be a piece or two in there that's actually missing. So let's take a look. Here we go. First of all, his route map, which is in full color. It's absolutely beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. It's preserved in here. It looks like there was a brochure here that's gone missing. There's also a postcard showing the BOAC Stratocruiser, as you see in the photograph, and we can presume that is probably the aircraft that he traveled in. Here's a menu and wine list from his travels. Again, it's BOAC is British Overseas Airways Corporation, and you can see the full color menu there. Has a little bit of something might have spilled on it right there at the top, caused a bit of staining, but he has all of his complimentary refreshments and all the paperwork that came with it. So here we start with the information about the castles. You have Castle Ashby. Again, this person did postcards, so these are not photos that he took personally. These are postcards from 1956 all the way throughout. He has his admission tickets and the brochures that he received at each point of interest. So there's Castle Ashby with postcards of it. Flipping the page, there are some more postcards that spilled onto this page. He wasn't necessarily really artistic in the way they're laid out. There are a couple here, a couple there, but nothing's missing from that page. Here are some brochures, Stratford-on-Avon in color, and Shakespeare's Country. These are kind of thick brochures, roughly 20 pages each in full color from the period. And the thick brochures he has attached only by 2 photo corners, so if I were to slide this, it would slide right out. I'm not going to do that. So carefully turn the page. Here's the hotel where he was staying, the White Swan, all the memorabilia from that hotel. Then we get on to Warwick Castle. So these are all views of Warwick Castle from the grounds and from the air. Again, all 1956. Here's the brochure from Warwick Castle. These are all very nicely preserved, thick brochures. This one actually has 50 numbered pages. So that's a heavy-duty brochure, and these are all the postcards that came with it. Next page continues with his tour of Warwick Castle, the office. Again, he kept all the pieces of paper he received, all incredible ephemera from the period. All he has from Kenilworth Castle, and I'm probably butchering these names, is this piece of ephemera, which is a brochure describing the grounds. And then on the next page it goes into the postcards of Kenilworth Castle, many of them from the air. Beautiful postcards. Most of them are black and white, being mid-century. Here's Stoneleigh Abbey, a very thick book. This has 27 plates in it. Just a beautiful brochure there, and it's so thick that he didn't even bother using photo corners. It just sits with that page. Stoneleigh Abbey ephemera, card that goes over here. Here are some color postcards from Stoneleigh Abbey. They're color or colorized. They're really beautiful. A hotel in Coventry. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name, so this is the information from the hotel and his bill and so forth. Really amazing ephemera. Ingester Hall. There are the postcards that go with it. Again, these are numerous page brochures for each of these places he stopped. Adlington Hall in Cheshire with postcards and brochure. Lyme Park, a couple of brochures. There's one that says it cost him £1 for the tour. This is a very thick color brochure with 31 pages and black and white pictures in it. Again, admission tickets, motor car tickets, and so forth for Lyme Park. Flipping the page, this is Hawarden official guide, and there is a postcard from Hawarden. And then it continues with the postcards of Hawarden Castle. Again, these pages are all loose, so we're just flipping them over. Flint Castle, there's the brochure, there's the admission ticket, 6p, and the postcard, and it continues with postcards of that castle. These are large postcards, the ruins, the tower, and so forth. Here is Rhuddlan Castle in Flintshire. Again, some of these postcards, interestingly enough, looks like they were put on with a small piece of tape. And this one has come loose, would have to be reattached. There's his 6p admission. And we flip that over. Conway Castle and Bridge. Apparently he had all of one postcard of that. And then this is Penryn Castle in Carnarvonshire, £1 again. The brochure itself is dated 1955. We know he was traveling in 1956. And here are the postcards that go with it. Beautiful views, castle and the cathedral. Conway Castle, illustrated guide. Again, that was 6p. And there are the beautiful postcards with the old automobiles from the period. Those looks like 30s and 40s automobiles, actually, most of them. And then continues with his parking fee ephemera, his admission ticket, more postcards. This is all Conway Castle. Beaumaris Castle in Anglesey. Again, admission ticket, brochure, postcards. He has a color one there. You see the turrets and the ruins and so forth. Beautiful views, all from 1950s. Harlech Castle, brochure, views, more views. You can see there's one that's colorized. Keep going. Carnarvon Castle. There's the brochure. That's actually a very thick brochure. Let's see how many pages that is. Yeah, this is a 40-page brochure with a complete fold-out map of Carnarvon Castle. Absolutely intact and beautiful. You could actually take that out and frame it. There's nothing wrong, not even a rip on it. Here are the postcards, Carnarvon Castle. Keep going. More postcards of Carnarvon Castle. Had quite a visit there. Tudor bedroom in Gwydir Castle. So I believe he might have been in Wales at this point. Then Stokesay Castle. There's his admission. There's his brochure. These are all postcards of Stokesay Castle. Again, I may be butchering these names. Ludlow and Ludlow Castle. There's his admission ticket, brochure, plan of the town. This is a thick brochure for traveling and visiting Ludlow. Beautiful views of it. The Feathers Hotel, just an awesome postcard of the Feathers Hotel. Views from the air of Ludlow Castle, complete layout, turrets, and so forth in the 1950s. Again, these brochures are thick, so he just slid them into two photo corners like this at one end. As you say, you can just slide them back in there. That's, I guess, pronounced Kirk Castle. There's a very heavy color brochure, about 30 plates of that castle, and there's the catalog of pictures, furniture, and works of art, admission ticket, and staterooms. I won't try to pronounce the name of that castle. I'm going to say he's in Wales. Beautiful admission, postcards, brochure. Here's Kidwillie Castle, Carmarthenshire, official guide, 1 shilling, and so forth, his admission ticket. Then here is more hotel information from the Royal Hotel in Cardiff. So yes, he's definitely in Wales at this point. The Queen's and Royal Garage, where he was stationed. Lots of ephemera. Beautiful 1950s ephemera. Again, this is a bound, spiral bound set of views of Cardiff Castle, and as usual it slides into just two photo corners because the spine couldn't be accommodated, so it just slips back into those photo corners. Here's the brochure that goes with it for Cardiff Castle, their 1950s brochure. Again, here's Cardiff 1955, National Museum of Wales he visited, and this is their 55 version of their handbook. A little bit of dust and so forth in here. Castle Cock, Glamorgan, admission, brochure, numerous pages, beautiful 1950s. County Borough of Methro Tidful, and the Sephartha Castle Museum and Art Gallery, 1956. There's the brochure, there are the postcards. Grosmock Castle, admission. White Castle, Monmouthshire, admission, brochure, postcards. Raglan Castle, same place, official guide, very thick. We're looking at about 50 pages here again with a beautiful fold out. Not quite as large, but it's a 2-page fold out. Could be framed. A little bit of oxidation on those staples right there. A little bit of powdery oxidation from age. Those are iron staples. Admission, postcards. Continue. Chepstow Castle, Monmouthshire. Just an enormous number of castles this gentleman visited, and they're all documented with their 1950s postcards. Tintern Abbey is still in Monmouthshire. There are the views of it, the ruins, the front. Absolutely gorgeous set of pictures there. Again, I don't know if this gentleman even had a camera with him, but he seemed to go after the best postcards, and they're all beautifully preserved. Usk Castle, still in Monmouthshire. The history, the brochure, a view. Abbey of Blessed Mary of Dane, Flexley, admission, brochure. Windsor and the Queen's Dollhouse. This book is 70 pages. Souvenir book of the Queen's Dollhouse from okay, I don't see a date in here. Obviously it was 1956 or earlier. That's when he was traveling. The official guide to Windsor, as you see here. Beautiful guidebooks. These are all Windsor Castle, views of Windsor Castle. Tiny set of photographs that he would have purchased there. Clarendon Park, admission, the buildings, Clarendon from the Lake, Clarendon Park West Front and East Front, Hampton Court Palace. So there are a couple of brochures there. We know who that is. And Hampton Court Car Park. So again, where he was traveling by vehicle and garaging it. Here are the views. Beautiful set of photographs that he would have purchased there. Berkeley Castle. Again, there's a little dust in here from age. That clips in to those two photo corners. This is a full color front, and this is again one of those that were printed with 30 plates. So these color front brochures with the 30 plates all seem to be from the same publisher. And more ephemera, admission tickets, Doddington House, Doddington Cookery Book, admission tickets, brochure underneath there. This is in Gloucestershire. Views, keep going. A large view that he put on one page. And some more views. That's Corsham Court, and so forth.